Hey, welcome to episode 12 of All Blokes Love Sneakers too. It's Paul here. Today we're doing an interview with Samuel Solomon, aka Dexter the Creator. We talk about all things sneakers. We do a little bit of digging into his personal life. We circle back, understanding what he's doing now. Hope you all enjoy it. Make sure you catch us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever we do all of our podcasts. Make sure you check out some of our other content. You've got Spilling the Kicks. You've got some Joel videos that are up at the moment. And make sure you check out Luke's return with Around the Sneaker in 130 days. Enjoy. All right, welcome to Old Blokes Love Sneakers 2. Very special today. We've got Samuel Solomon here, also known as Dexter. I used to call you Dexter the Destroyer, so I apologize straight away. I know it's Dexter the Creator. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's always a
Mate,
pleasure.
no, it's our pleasure. It really is. Thank you so much for taking some time out and to talk to us. I know you're a very busy person. Hey, I did a bit of Instagram stalking for this interview, so we're going to pull up some stuff. I had to cut it down. You've got so many things I wanted to talk about, but so I thought I'd cut it down and we'll talk a few things and we'll go from there. Is that okay?
Yeah, it sounds good. Let's get to it.
Excellent. Hey, we obviously came across you talking about shoes is sort of the thing that we sort of knew you from, and we sort of, Johnny Kicks and through the shoe surgeon. There was a pair that caught my eye. It was liked by Dominic, this pair. Hey, let's start here. Tell us about shoes and your love of them and how you got to here. These are amazing, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, that one was a very fun project for me, actually. But leading up to that, just started from Louis Vuitton Air Force Ones, with just some Louis on the swoosh is kind of like this right here. So this was one of my first pairs actually, and I kind of like it's not even fully done, but that was one of my first things, just trying out, and slowly kept trying to push the limits. But then I ended up taking a class with Dominic, back about 2 years ago now. So last 2 Januaries 2018, and didn't really know what to expect, did it, and then ended up working alongside of him a couple months later. And then that pair was actually specifically made for Dr. Phil's son. So his name's Jordan McGraw, and he's actually a rock star himself. He came back off a tour with the Jonas Brothers, who is opening up for. So,
what was the commission? What was the ask? Was there an ask, or you just made those ones up?
So I actually had him come by the studio when I was over working with Dominic.
Yep.
And so we, had him come by with his team, had a consultation with him, took him through the process, because, it's pretty overwhelming when you get asked, oh, what would you want for your one pair of sneakers? Or, what's your,
definitely.
So there's so many possibilities. So I just am there. I help you through it, give you a bunch of options, to pick from. And it was fun. He wanted to go for that South Beach fun vibe. So
beautiful. They're actually a really beautiful pair of sneakers, man. They're amazing.
Appreciate it.
Hey, so tell us about that love of sneakers. How did you get there? Was it a pair of shoes you fell in love with, or what got you into sneakers and then obviously making them?
So, being from Los Angeles, growing up with the skating culture, so skateboarding was a big part of my life growing up. So Nike SBs were on my feet, from the early days, as far as I can remember. And my first pair of shoes were Jordans, and I actually have them hanging right here on one of my sewing machines. But,
we'll have to get a photo of them. We'll put them we'll get them on the chat. I'll get you to give a photo to Maxi so he can put them up as we talk.
Oh, later. Awesome. Yeah, so, even from then, before I even knew what shoes were, I had a pair of Jordans thrown on. And then through the skateboarding, just skating, and I just loved the way the shoes looked, got all into collecting, started stacking them, but was also shredding them at the time because I was so young and really wasn't buying shoes. So it was more of, okay, I would get this shoe skated. It would be destroyed in a few months, and then, on to the next one.
SB's come a long way, hasn't it? SB was very functional when it started. It was a functional sort of thing, and now it's it's an expression of everybody's talents. I think there's some amazing SB stuff. I love SBs. They're one of my
You
favorite
know,
sort of
they're
things.
back. They're back for sure. They're coming back and
Last
strong.
year, probably the last 18 months, haven't they? And then obviously the Ben and Jerry was a culmination. I'm not sure I like the Ben and Jerry, but yeah, it just
Yeah.
saw the hype of them. Hey, before you were doing that, you've got a bit of a professional career. I think you've been on the stock exchange, haven't you? I think
Uh,
you might have done something at Nasdaq. I've got a photo here. I want you to explain this one. I love this one.
okay. So that is actually,
Explain this.
um, so I wasn't too much involved in stocks actually. Um, that was actually a special day. I was in New York, working with production team known as the Tennis Channel, and they cover live tennis. And
Yeah,
so we had the opportunity, um, along with um, Martina Navratilova, James Blake, you know, and a few other people, to open up the stock market. So we were able to ring the bell, and they had
great.
us come, and we got to take our photo, and so it was pretty cool. And
I
then,
had to look about 3 times because we've talked before. I didn't know if it was you. I was like, "Is it really him? Is he taking a photo?" The hair totally threw me.
yeah, so it was very different time.
Very
But yeah,
corporate.
it was a lot of fun. It was pretty overwhelming to see me that big up on Times
Amazing.
Square. But yeah, it was cool.
That's phenomenal. It's such a nice thing. It'd be so amazing, wouldn't it, to see yourself up there? Hey, tennis has always been a big thing with you, hasn't it? You've always loved tennis.
Yeah, so it's actually part of the family. So my grandparents grew up playing tennis, have a background of it,
Got a
and
couple of photos
my
of tennis that's picked up. We'll throw this one up while you're talking. So yeah.
oh, awesome. Yeah, I was working production covering the Wimbledon for a couple of years. But yeah, my grandpa actually and grandma play tennis even till this day, and it's just slowing down now that he's in his 80s. But
Wow.
you know, they still run me up and down the court. My grandma was still with my butt. So yeah. So growing up, my pops was big into tennis. We were a big tennis family. It was being, you know, lessons trained and, you know, being raised as a tennis kid
Yeah.
kind of. And then I kind of got a little bored of it and started skateboarding. So
Yes,
that's where
very
that came.
diametrically opposite, aren't they? They're very opposite things.
Absolutely. So it's tennis, baseball, and skateboarding. A lot of
Hey,
that.
but with tennis, you've been all over, haven't you? You've been to Wimbledon, you've been to the French Open. Have you done all of them? The Australian Open?
Not Australia. I've never been to Australia. I would love to come and meet
We're
you
ready to roll.
in person. So
You let us know when you're down here. We will organise it for you.
that would be
Definitely.
awesome. Yeah, I'd be love to meet you guys in person, and we can do something down there too.
Hang out at the tennis. We'll get you into the Australian Open. Well, definitely. It's a good day. We've been a few times to the tennis. I love the first couple of days are great, aren't they? Because there's so many games on, and you get
Oh
to hang
yeah,
around.
it's like going to an amusement park. You know.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And you get to, and there's not always many people out on the outside courts. I always love that. I always remember watching Malavi Washington when he was nobody. I remember going out to one of the outside courts. There's like 5 people watching this guy, and he turned up to be an amazing tennis player.
yeah, it's great. You get some of the best tennis action over there, honestly, too.
Hey, hey, tell us a little bit. We talked about it last time. We talked about the Stan Smith connection.
Yep.
Just let's talk a little bit more about that. So he reached out to you and wanted to see what you were doing, didn't he? He wanted to understand what making sneakers was all about. Yeah.
Yeah. So he flew into LA, and I actually didn't have his contact in my phone at the time, and so I got a call, and I was like, oh, that's weird. And next thing you know, he's like, oh, it's Stan Smith. I'm like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Um,
The
I'm
real
like,
Stan
oh
Smith.
yeah, I was like kind of blown away for a sec, even though I met him before, and you know we were building a relationship, but it was weird. It was still like, yeah, it was just an awe. But so pretty much he was like, hey, yeah, I'm in LA, would love to come check out the studio, see what you guys are doing, you know, and happily had him come by, was able to give him a tour, and that was when I was working over at the shoe surgeon, and you know, he didn't really know how his shoes were made, and given that Stan Smith is the #1 selling shoe of Adidas of all time, you know,
Amazing, isn't it?
so just hearing that, I was amazed that had no idea, or even that Adidas didn't care to show him, maybe. But
Mm.
anyways, I took him from start to finish of how shoes are made by hand at quality standards. There's a few different steps that are a little different when it comes to production, like big manufacturing standards. But
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, for the most part, it was him the first time seeing how they're put together. So it was
Yeah, he's
pretty
pretty
special. And
phenomenal guy, isn't he? He sounds so humble too. He's a really humble sort of
no, he
gentleman.
is. He's one of the nicest souls I've ever met.
I think I've heard him say once before, most people don't actually know I play tennis. They just think of me as a tennis shoe. They think of me as a shoe.
No, absolutely. Like people, he had a book. People think I'm a sneaker,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
so
exactly. That's the thing. I was going to say that he did write the book. Yeah, but it's true, right? Because
it
he was
is.
such an older generation player, and then all of a sudden he's got this amazing shoe. And most people have that in their collection because
Oh
it's a
yeah, he had
classic shoe, right? They may not like an Adidas, but they always have a Stan Smith or a version of it, something like that. I've got one too. I know because I'm not always
absolutely. He's been walk up to or he'll walk up to people on the street wearing Stan Smiths and be like, "Hey, do you know who that guy is?" There,
Adidas. That's
they're like,
great.
"Oh no," and he's like, "Oh, it's me," and they're like, "Oh, So
We we should get him to do that. That could be a whole reality TV show.
yeah, no, definitely that'd be funny.
Just with the camera, you walk up and go, "Hey, they're really nice shoes. Do you know what these are?" And they'd be
Yeah,
like, "No, Stan Smith." You go, "Do you know who Stan Smith is?" And you're like, "No, yeah, definitely." Hey,
yeah.
just tell me a little about working with Dominic. Right, we've obviously talked about him. He's one of the most, most in-demand sort of shoe people. Tell us about how that went for that time you were with him.
It was cool. Very appreciative of you know him taking me in and like giving me the opportunity. Met a lot of friends that I'm gonna have for life, and we've all kind of moved on to our own thing, and we're still connected amongst each other, and day-to-day contacts. So it was a lot of fun. Um, Learned a lot.
Mm.
Um, but working for Dominic, I actually took a big risk. I was supposed to go to college in Paris, and I
Ah,
was
wow,
leaving.
that is a
Yeah,
pivot.
I was leaving in a month prior from me starting, because I actually found out that I got accepted the same day I got the job.
Oh my goodness.
The day after, so it was pretty like, oh my God, what do I do?
Sliding doors.
Yeah, so ended up staying. They offered me an opportunity, and then I felt after a little bit of that, it was time for me to go my own route
Definitely.
and grow. You know, like much respect to Dominic and all that he's done. And
There's some amazing people out there, isn't there? He's one of them. Obviously, Johnny Kicks, John Solomon, that we know really well here. He's an amazing designer. He's actually getting some really good credit at the moment. And another guy we do, Govern. You obviously know Govern.
yeah,
Yeah, those two guys have just been amazing for us, right? And I think there's so many people out there. And what I've found with the community is like yourself and everyone, you just reach out and people are just willing to help you and talk to you. And you're giving time to us on a Saturday night, and we're just so appreciative of it. Hey, a quick one before we keep moving. I want to show you two pictures, and I want to know how you came up with these names: Little Monster and Ill Wolf. I love the names of the cat and the dog.
oh yeah.
They're so cool, right? How did we get those names?
All right, so I
Look,
guess
there's Ill Wolf.
yeah. So his name was actually Wolfie. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we always just thought he looked like a little miniature wolf, and so he got that. But um, my pup over here, it's actually her birthday today,
Yeah,
and
we got a
she
photo
just
of her too. She's on the stairs. How big is she?
she's
Yeah,
about yeah, she's about 50 pounds.
yeah. Look, we got a photo there. Look
Yeah,
at that.
yeah. So
Yeah.
she actually just turned 10 today.
Oh, 10.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it's
that's not a
pretty
pup.
crazy.
That's
Yeah,
an old. That's amazing.
but she still acts like a pup and so
They're
healthy.
great. We've just got a dog, and I didn't.
Yeah,
She's fantastic. No, I love when I was doing your flick. I loved the two names. I thought Monster and Wolf. I thought they were amazing names. It's like vampire hunting. It
yeah.
sounded like. Hey, you've done some other stuff that I want to touch on. You did a bit of an internship. This was a great photo that I found. You know, a bit of an internship with, and you called them your two dads. It'll come up, Mister. Someone we sort of know. One obviously is your dad, and there's another
Yeah.
guy there. There's another guy. I don't know who the ball bloke is. Could you tell me
Yeah.
who he is? Not sure
Well,
who the bloke.
that guy is what we know as America's favorite doctor.
Yes.
You know, so his name's Dr. Phil. He's a dear friend of me and my father as well. Actually, out of high school, took an internship with him and ended up becoming, you know, a production assistant and working my way up a little bit in the production, um, you know, the production business.
Yeah.
But
How was
still,
it?
he mentored me a bit, and you know, as soon as I started getting more and more into the sneakers, I started, you know, I left and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And so
Yeah.
he gave me a big opportunity and like helped me learn a lot about just business in general, you know, interactions, whatnot. And he had me managing like the B-roll house where they do all the footage
That's
for,
fantastic.
yeah. And so it was a great experience. And now, you know, I'm happy to be able to say that I'm working on things alongside him
Hey,
to
hey, that
hopefully
sounds
come out with
interesting.
some cool stuff, you know, and then, you know, next few weeks, if that. So I'm pretty pumped, you know, and
You're coming out with the Dr. Phil
I'm just happy
trainer,
that I
right?
was able to
The
keep
Dr.
the
Phil sneaker.
relationship going and it's become stronger. And now doing stuff with his son Jordan and whatnot.
Yeah. So Dr. Phil's coming out with his own sneaker range. Is that what you're telling me?
Might as well.
Hey, family is important to you, right? I think we've noted this even when I've talked to you a couple of times. I want to show you this photo, and I want to understand what your brother was doing here. Let's have a look at this photo. I think you'll know which photo I'm talking about. He was graduating. What's going on with the white suit? Why haven't you directed him here? What's this style he's wearing?
Okay, so my brother's actually kind of what we call an old soul. So he is, you know, very into the 1920s to the 70s type styles, and so he, you know, started from the 20s and he's worked his way up.
Yes.
But you know, that was like a original suit
It's
from
pretty
that time
interesting.
period, and he went to Savannah College for Art and Design, so
Yeah.
wearing the white suit in like the sea of the black,
Would have looked amazing.
yeah, it was kind of like a big statement, but it was also one of the original suits worn by someone down in the South, I believe.
Ah. Hey, I wanted
Yeah.
to ask you about that college you went to. So he went to a creative college. What's that? Because I didn't know what that was.
um I'm sorry, for my brother.
Yeah, your brother. It was
Yeah.
SCAD, wasn't it? Savannah
Yeah,
College.
Savannah College for Art and Design. So it's a very great college. They have a lot of great programs for art, photography. Fossil even has a program there, you know, so for Fossil
Okay.
watches.
Yeah. The
And
watches and then sort of, yep, designing stuff.
yeah,
Nice.
so there's a lot. Yeah, it's a great school. It's just not as well known if you're
Yeah.
not in the art community, you know, and
I think so. Creative talents runs in the family, my friend.
actually, it's funny you say that. It's mostly right now just me and my brother. So, um, everyone else is kind of either in an entertainment business. But my mother definitely did have a little bit of the creative side, and she's kind of designs
Yeah.
and stuff like that for like landscaping and whatnot. So,
Creative comes in different forms, doesn't it?
yeah.
I think. Hey, we've been seeing it on you. You've got a really nice tattoo on your arm.
Oh
Tell
yeah.
me about that. Yeah, tell us about that. We've got a really good photo of this one. You took one, so tell us about. Obviously, we
Yeah.
know what it is. It's your surname. It's a really. Who did this for you?
Yeah. So this is Solomon, and it was done by old friend known as Norm, and he was part of this Los Angeles graffiti crew, and known as MSK, and short for Mind Seeking Knowledge or Man Seeking Knowledge. Various abbreviations for it. But it's a very prominent crew in LA, and he was one of the best in the industry at that style. He created this style, and
That's
so
cool.
I had him do it. He did it in an hour, and I was
Wow, in an hour.
yeah,
That's
in an hour
phenomenal.
freehand. And so I was very fortunate enough to get it from him before he passed away about a year ago.
I was going to say he did pass on you. I saw
Yeah,
that. Yeah, so freehand. That's phenomenal.
yeah, he's talent, true talent.
Yeah, my my partner or my wife's got a few tattoos, and they didn't take an hour, and there was no freehand. There was lots. She's got some really nice stuff, but they were very stencily, and it took a long time. There's some amazing stuff, but freehand. That's what got me with yours. When you told me that, it was like that's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's true talent.
Hey, so we've touched on lots of stuff with you. So sneakers was your go, and then obviously COVID sort of hit and things changed in the world, and you pivoted, didn't you? So what was that decision to move into masks? Tell us about that a little
You know, it was a tough decision to in terms of figuring out how I was going to make it all work, but the decision to transition wasn't, because you know you have to think about what's needed right now, and masks are what's needed right now, because yeah, I love making shoes. That's my passion.
bit.
I mean, of course I'd take making a pair of shoes over a mask, but given that there isn't going to be people to wear shoes if we don't get these
Yes,
masks out.
yes.
People aren't taking the precautions, you know, if we're not making the effort for that. So I felt it was very important, whether it was one mask that I got out, to, you know, at least
Yep,
save and help a
that's beautiful.
person. So
That's great. So you're doing well. You've got lots of different stuff. I think you've changed. So obviously you could have gone and made just a really plain mask, but you've done it a little bit more, not stylish, but you've given it sort of some flair, haven't you? Sort of, and people have really responded to it as well.
yeah, I mean, it's tough because, you know, you walk out and everyone has the same thing on, and
Mm,
so it's kind of like people feel like don't want to be the same. They don't want to be wearing this, you
right.
know, everyone doesn't want to look the same in that matter. So why not be able to personalize it just like I personalize shoes? I'm like, I might as well. I have all these threads, bunch of different materials, and then you know, just started doing a little bit more luxury mass, but that's more of made to order. But the neoprene is more practical in terms of um, was doing the quantities to try and actually help. The other ones are more casual and for, you know.
Definitely. I think we'll put it up at the end of this. We'll put up your website where people, if they want to buy some and that sort of stuff, and help out, because I know it's a really good cause. Hey, I want to finish on two things a little bit more serious. So
Yeah.
you posted a James Blake video, right?
Yes.
I watched it, and I think it's something, if people haven't seen it, it's a really good insight into exactly what's happening, right? Because I think I said to you, I understand it, but I don't get it, because it's hard for us because we don't get this sort of thing. But that video showed everything that you need to know, didn't
No, absolutely. I mean, you saw it for yourself. He's just standing there.
it?
And this is
Yeah,
one of the, you know, one of our best American US tennis players. And then he just gets taken down. And it's disgusting.
it
It's
is. It's really so. Yeah, for anyone who hasn't seen it, who's listening, what happens is James comes out of a hotel and he's I think he's obviously waiting for something, and he stands there and he's smiling, right? So he's just sort of standing there disarmed. He has his arms down, and all of a sudden he says, "Guy, grab him and just throw him to the ground." And what he says was, he goes, "I actually thought it was a fan coming towards me when I was
yeah.
listening to that interview he did. It was amazing." And he said, we've been taught, and I just didn't assume. And he goes, "I was so lucky, one, there was no one else there with me, because you just don't know what would have happened. And I didn't put my hands up to fight. It was just this amazing sort of sequence." And you know what got me, Sam, was when he said, "Once I step out of my tennis bubble, I just become a regular anybody." And he did say, "I become a regular black person." That threw me, right? Because I don't think I've ever had to do that. And I don't, obviously you've never had to. We've never had that where we go, shit, someone's coming towards me. I need to be that
Yeah.
sort of particular person. It really got me. It was an amazing video, and I've shared it a bit, and I've sort of said, if anyone hasn't seen it, look it up. Let him talk about it. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of the ones you must see, and it definitely, as you said, helps clarify things and make things more understandable for those who can't seem to understand. or have a harder time understanding. But yeah, I mean, he's just one of many too, and
Definitely, exactly. It's
that's
just a
the
real.
unfortunate thing. And
Yeah,
so I'm happy that Blake was able to make that video and felt comfortable and was able to express that, and I think it helped a lot.
definitely. I think it's something that's sort of become really important. Like I said, there's so much out there, and people you need to educate yourself, right? I think that's the bit that I've known. We talked a bit personally around that 13th video, right? That gives you an insight. You've got to get information. You've got to make up your own mind here because there's so much out there, and some of it's disinformation, and some of it's. Hey, let's finish off. How's LA at the moment?
You know, it's a little crazy, to be honest, but it's beautiful weather, so with the heat, it helps with the virus. But given that there's the sudden influx of people all going to the beaches, all going out to, as if nothing's wrong, or still going on. And it's a little worrying because it's already starting to form the second wave. And
Yeah.
so,
And then you've got obviously the tensions around, what else is happening and some
in
of
the
the
protests,
demonstrations.
and
And
that's,
it's a bit of an interesting time, isn't it, in America for you guys?
yeah. And with the riots a week ago, with the looting and
Mm.
everything, it was insane. It was pretty intense. We got word that they were coming over and gonna loot from the neighborhood I live in, and
Yeah,
so
no,
I had to lock everything up, be prepared, everything. So it's pretty terrifying, but all that's calmed down. It seems like they got a control on things, and now it's just a bunch of peaceful protests.
and
And
that's what you want, isn't it? That's
yeah,
what we need.
exactly. And I was in the protest, when the looting and stuff was happening, but you see the difference between the protesters and the looters, the people taking advantage. And
Definitely.
the protesters
It's
called
not
out.
one person. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's
just trying
terrible.
to do the most we can for COVID and Black Lives Matter and for just equality for everyone. So,
Hey, my friend, thank you so much for spending some time with us. We love talking shoes, but we love talking everything with you. It's been an absolute pleasure.
oh, I really appreciate it. I mean,
No. Anytime.
honestly, the pleasure
Hey,
is all mine to be able to come on here and give you guys
don't
some
be silly.
time.
Don't be silly. Hey, we will talk to you very soon. Thank you again, my friend.
Awesome. I'm looking forward
Hey,
to it, and I'll definitely let you know if I end up coming out to Australia.
we'll get you down here. That's the goal. We'll get you down here and we'll take you
Yeah,
around the Australia Open. How's that?
let's do it.
Definitely. Thank you, my friend. Thanks, Sam.
Alrighty, stay safe.